Shripad Sharanam Prapadde. The reports of Bangarappa and Sundaram Sharma are narrated in chapter 15 of the Shripad Shri Vallabh Charitramrita. Shankar Bhatt was on his way to Kurugaddi. Feeling thirsty, he stopped near a well to draw water. But when he looked into the well, he had a strange sight. On the inner side of the well was a man holding on to a branch and performing somersaults. He was Bangarappa. He said, "I know that you are a devotee of Lord Shripad and are on the way to Kurugaddi. I was waiting for you. You may quench your thirst from this well water." Saying so, the man himself drew water and started drinking it. But what was strange was, though he was drinking water, Shankar Bhatt was feeling his thirst quenched. Bangarappa was a goldsmith but was very learned in the Tantra Mantra Vidya. He used his knowledge to even kill any person who he did not like. Due to this, his face radiated the negativity of evil spirits and ghosts. Once, Bangarappa was possessed by a spirit, but due to his good karma, he had a chance to come to Pitikapur. He had heard many incidences about Sri Bapannacharya and Lord Shripad, so he thought of killing Bapannacharya. Bangarappa was knowledgeable about various methods of killing people. One such method was that whoever was to be killed, Bangarappa would meditate on that person. He would then drink water, but the effect would be that the person on whom he would meditate, that person's stomach would burst and he would die. But this time Bangarappa failed. As soon as he would drink water, Lord Shripad would lovingly move his hand over Bapannacharya's stomach. This resulted in the water receding. Bangarappa got tired drinking gallons of water, but Bapannacharya was protected by Lord Shripad. So Bangarappa's knowledge did not stand the test. Bangarappa had a Sarpa mantra, that is a snake chant. If he wanted to kill someone, he would meditate on that person and chant this mantra. A snake would then go to the person's house and bite him. He tried this on Bapannacharya, but to no avail. He then decided to kill Shripad. He made a wheat flour doll of Shripad in the graveyard and pricked 32 needles in 32 different places on the doll. He wanted to injure Shripad. Not only that, but he dipped those needles in poison and pricked it so that he would die soon. But this plan also was unsuccessful. On the contrary, Bangarappa felt the practices he did on others boomeranged on him. He could feel the pain of the 32 needles that he had pricked on the doll. Finally, he surrendered to Lord Shripad. Then he got a vision of Lord Shripad who said, "For all your bad deeds and sins, you deserve the worst of suffering in hell. But I take pity on you and destroy all your miseries and sufferings. If you see any person who is thirsty, you must drink water yourself. Only then will this thirst be quenched. You have learned certain yoga kriyas. One of them is somersault, doing which you will have happiness. Now onwards, you will lead a pious and righteous life." Shankar Bhatt was shocked on hearing this. He pleaded with Bangarappa to reveal the secret behind the quenching of one's thirst when Bangarappa would drink water. Clearing his doubts away, Bangarappa said, "I have mastered the yogic art of doing so." During the times of Ramayana, Kishkinda king Vali had acquired a unique skill of doubling his power compared to his opponent. So Sri Ram had to hide behind a tree to aim an arrow to kill him. Rishi Vishwamitra had taught Ram and Lakshman a very sacred mantra wherein one could keep his life force eternal. There are 12 ways of purifying the human body. Both Sri Ram and Shripad were in the 12th state of the purified form. So eternal power, infinite knowledge and omnipresence came to them very easily. Now he describes the 7 roles of a seeker. Man plays 7 roles for his development. In the first role, he can utilize his physical macro form and his subtle form easily. Using his subtle energy, he can perform very small miracles in his second role. In his third role, he can travel very far using his subtle energy. The third and fourth role have the important part of being as we suggest to ourselves or wish. For instance, when Gautam Rishi cursed Ahilya, she was so shocked and still that she believed she was a stone. Her body and mind remained in that form till Sri Ram cast his divine glance on her. In short, she remained at the center stage of the third and fourth role. With Sri Ram's glance, she transformed into a human form with great ease. A soul playing the part of the fourth role has great yogic power. If this energy is used for benefit of mankind, one can reach great heights in spirituality. But the sinful use of this energy becomes burdensome. The fifth role makes the seeker so determined that along with the divine path, he also manages the material world efficiently. The sixth role bestows the seeker with the emotional aspect. He is not afraid of the ways of the material world. The seventh role brings the seeker so close to divinity that he can obtain divine knowledge easily. Further on, now we come to know the difference between an incarnation and a spiritual seeker. Clearing certain doubts arising in Shankar Bhatt's mind, Bangarappa said that when a man becomes God, he is called Samartha Sadguru, that is a supreme teacher. When God manifests as human, it is called an incarnation. Lord Shripad is an incarnation beyond one's imagination. In him, all singular and plural elements coexist. Bangarappa continued, the universe is created with duality as a concept. If there was no fear of death, then even a mother would not love her child. The soul is not the body. The soul is unborn, inexpressible, unimaginable, and without any defect. All living forms have the same soul in them, but man and God have certainly some differences in them. This difference inspires man to become God. God has not only good and positive energies, but also some destructive and negative energies. These energies are used appropriately for the universe to carry on its processes smoothly. Man gets joys and sorrows in his lifetime due to his past deeds. He is not rewarded or punished instantly for his deeds. But if his good or bad deeds are intense in nature, then there is immediate consequence for the same. When earth is burdened with unrighteousness and wickedness and miseries are inflicted on innocent, helpless people by the so-called strong or powerful ones, then God incarnates to settle scores with them and the innocent are protected. People who believe in God continue to do so and get inspired to do good work, whereas the ones who are atheists continue their wickedness. Thus, for good or bad, each individual is himself responsible. Once, Velu Prabhu Maharaj, a king from Pithikapur, had a strong desire to meet Shripad Shri Vallabh. So he sent a message to Sri Appalraj's house to summon Shripad immediately. Realizing that the king had no devotional feeling but summoned for him out of haughtiness, that is arrogance, Lord Shripad told the messenger, "Your master is only the king of Pithikapur, but I am the master of the entire creation. If he wants to see me, he can do so himself. He is welcome to my house, but he must bring an offering and gift for me which befits a teacher and an emperor." On hearing this from his messenger, the king flared up. He roared, "How dare Shripad Shri Vallabh disobey the order of the king of this land?" Barely had he uttered these words when suddenly a raging storm threw the king off his throne. He was in pain and no one could pacify his suffering. The king was helpless and felt as if his power had vanished. The royal priest, who was a devotee of Sri Dattatreya, applied some sacred ash on the king's forehead and offered him holy water. He ordered the Brahmins of the land to read Datta Puran, but the result was in contrast. There was loot and plunder all over the kingdom. The king would get dreams of his ancestors who were weak and grumbled that they never got any offering or food to eat in spite of their death ceremonies being regularly practiced. The truth was that the persons who performed these death ceremonies would themselves eat up the food and offerings. In the meantime, the king's daughter got possessed by an evil spirit. The wife of the royal priest, who was a very calm lady, suddenly became very aggressive. The priest's son tied him with a rope. The Brahmins who were reading the Datta Puran got visions of evil spirits and ghosts. These evil spirits told the Brahmins that the king was a sinner he had amassed wealth in an unrighteous manner and donated it to these Brahmins. So they were troubled by the evil spirits. Finally, the Brahmins, the priest, and the king surrendered to Shripad Shri Vallabh and repented for their actions. The kind Shripad forgave them and said, "The self-evolved Datta, that is Swayambhu Datta statue in the form of Kalagni, is me only. You must earn wealth by righteous means, else that money will attract sorrow, misery, enmity, and selfishness. To burn all your sins, just call Shripad Shri Vallabh Dattatreya Digambar, and I will be there by your side. You will be pure souls from now onwards." The chapter 15 ends here, benefiting all of us with riddance of previous birth deeds and unreasonable occurrence of certain events. May Lord Shripad bless us all. Shripad Rajam Sharanam Prapadye.